Welcome back, my friends. I'm moving this video up in the roster that I was planning on putting things out because I got a request for it from Amy Song. Here it is. And I already had this recorded and didn't know when I was going to put it out, but also the main trait in this build is going to be reworked on April 19th, and I'll get more into that as we get into it. But here it is, Amy. It's OxSlingers, and then there's going to be a bit at the end in how to counter it. And before we get to our first set of augments, here's the graphic. Like, comment, subscribe. You know, the whole drill, because it helps the channel, helps it grow, and good things happen. Now, our augments. Yeah, nothing great there. Always have a hard time saying no to Thrill of the Hunt because it works into so many different builds. As you can see, we started off with a couple of Spellslingers, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in a Lulu just to trigger Heart. Now, by the time we got through with all the rolling, we had an Annie, a 2-star Lulu, and ended up putting them in because that'll give us the 2 Heart and the 2 Spellslingers, which is going to be important for the build because Annie is also an Oxforce. But I just got to slow this down to show you this. Watch Lulu dodge Lux's ult. Yup, walked out of the way. I love that. Your main goal in this build is pretty obvious. It's Spellslingers and Oxforce. I like using Lulu as my item holder because she can ultimately come out completely. And now I just want to slow this down again because lest you question that I have a friend at Riot, Lulu's dead, isn't she? I mean, there's no way she's coming back from this. But Thrill of the Hunt, then it's time to get out of the way again and finish Lux off. Now you have a bunch of goals you want to accomplish, but first and foremost are your Neeko items. Jeweled Gauntlet, Spear of Sojun, Rabadons, Deathcap are your best in slot. I'm using Lulu as the item holder. Annie is going to be a tank, and then Twisted Fate is going to be your secondary carry, and likely most important item is going to be the Static Shiv. And this is because it will shred the magic resist of the opposing team. You will also have Duelist ticked along with Fiora, so he will be attacking pretty fast. Any chance to get something like Axiom Arc, jump on it, you need mana back quickly. And as you go through, you're just picking up your Spellslingers and your Oxforce. Now I like to try to keep Heart a part of this build through mid-game because your second Heart isn't going to come until you get Viego, which likely isn't until stage 7, and you're going to need the increasing AP that Heart brings to get you through the mid-game. Without it, I've found this tends to fall off. Now again, I can't help but stress the importance of having a friend at Riot. There's a website somewhere, it's called the Friends of Riot program, you can check that out, but getting an early Twisted Fate and Viego certainly helps this build. So now that I've got Viego, why is Lulu still in the game? The reason is I don't have Neeko yet, and that Spear of Sojun is for her. I don't want to transfer it to anyone else because I then would have to sell them, and Lulu's doing a pretty good job. It's time for our final augment, and I am hoping for a hero augment. Fortunately, the phone rang right about here, so I ended up stuck because I had to answer it and then go back and start playing the game again. So we grab the Neeko augment, get Echo ready because Echo is an important part of this build since he will give us Aegis as well as an additional Star Guardian. We start building out our Neeko items and it's time for Lulu to go, but not really enough time to properly set up for the next fight. After this is over, we can dispense with Lux and put in Echo instead. We do not need the 5th Spellslinger. We will have our main 4 Spellslingers, and Echo will allow us to keep Star Guardian. The one thing we are missing right now is Alistar. That will complete our 4 Oxforce and give us the 2 Aegis to complete the general build. After that, it's whatever you want to add. It is item choice time, and remember our key Neeko items: Rabadon's Deathcap, Spear of Sojun, Jeweled Gauntlet. There is the Jeweled Gauntlet, so we are grabbing that. There is our Alistar, so we can bring him in, and now we have the full OxSlinger build. This is everything you absolutely need. We can go ahead and pick up an additional damage item for Twisted Fate just to increase his damage. Mainly the Oxforce is going to be our front line, and the Spellslingers are going to be the damage. For your last champion, I tend to look to bring in Fiddlesticks is my top choice because he will distract an opposing team by just getting in the middle of them. Urgot or Nunu can work as well, but this is very strong as is. Now, I mentioned earlier that I did this video now for a reason, and that is because on Wednesday the 19th, Oxforce is going to change. Instead of getting immunity for 1.5 seconds when they reach 0, they're going to get a 50% health shield. At least that's the plan that Mortdog announced today. So will that be as effective? I don't know, but for this game, we're now in the top 4 and picked up Fiddlesticks to finish off this team. We have our final 2 item choices coming up, and so first, we have an interesting possibility here. Because there is a prankster emblem, and we have Echo, we can set someone else as a prankster, and let's use our Annie of all trades. Then, how do we want to do this? Let's grab a jeweled gauntlet, put it on Fiddlesticks, so his casting will be more powerful once he is triggered. And now, our 2-star Neeko. And as you can see, Spellslingers and Star Guardians, that type of build, it's pretty popular right now. I have another video about Star Guardians that will be coming out in a few days. I actually pushed that for this one because of the Oxforce change, but Star Guardians, yeah, they can do a lot of damage and really hurt your chances. And I think this season, the TF and TFT stands for Twisted Fate because he seems to be a part of every single build. All Infiniteam builds require Twisted Fate. Spellslinger builds require Twisted Fate. Duelist builds require Twisted Fate, and these are some of the strongest builds in the game. So if your Twisted Fate isn't strong, you're in trouble, and we're down to 1 life left. At this point, so much of this ends up coming down to luck. If Neeko crits, she's going to knock people out. When she knocks people out, she's going to get back health and mana, which means she will cast again, and you can see that is what turns this fight. When she hits, she will wipe an entire team. It is now down to us versus the Infiniteam, and they have a 3-star Shen, who can make things very difficult to get through since he is going to shield himself and the largest damage dealer. I was hoping to get a 2-star Fiddlesticks to provide a bigger distraction and bigger drain, but no such luck. Gary walked away, but he helped us out early, so I guess I can't complain too much. It's really going to come down to whether the crits hit and how it all ends up going. Neeko's 3rd stop for her little frog is going to be key. You can see it wipe out a large part of their backline. Fiddlesticks does what he needs to do and holds them back. It looks really bad right now, but Neeko can just drop a team in no time and finish it off. Okay, so we won that game, but this is only the first part. Hang on while we get into how do you counter this build. Well, I found very often when I ran into our old friend Animaniacs or anything that is relying on misfortune, you have a really good chance of going down, especially if she has a mana producing item. This one, think I've got it, but Misfortune just has enough with mana production to be able to finish us off and put us in 3rd place. This game came down to a very early 1v1 with them with 18 health and me with 14, and I thought I had a good chance. My mistake here was clumping the middle, so I basically threw this first round away, but I figured I had a really good setup and I could win it. No, even when I spread everyone out, if Misfortune has a mana producer, then she's able to knock your Oxforce down to pretty much nothing. On her next cast, she's going to wipe them out very, very quickly and then finish off the rest of your team. You can see it right here. The Spear of Sojun helps her, and she just finishes off everything, including the 2-star Fiddlesticks, and it's GG for everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. Use this build while it lasts. You have until April 19th, and then we'll see what it does. And as always, have an absolutely, absolutely awesome day.